Hey, welcome to Tent Talk with Mac Truck here. So it's May 20th, and so today was a really interesting day. I woke up this morning in Tustin, California, Orange County, Southern California, and my wife and I and son drove to Pasadena, where I met up with the dentist at 10, and he was able to fix my teeth. Look at this. Nice, yeah. $420 later, but saved me from driving all the way to Modesto and all the way back and all that stuff. And it was a good dentist. It was well worth it. So I got on the trail about a little at 1:15, something like that. And I just did a short. I was able to actually do 10 miles. And so I'm at mile 407, almost 408, and for the day. So all in all, not a bad day, not a bad end to a horrible situation. But we're rolling and starting to more or less head downhill a little bit up.
It's pretty steaming hot, so although it's been cold, sometimes you gotta count your blessings. Pretty cloudy. I think I'm walking through a cloud, but on the good side, it's not 100 degrees. More of this desert I can get across before it gets hot again. I think the better.
May 21st was a most interesting day. I was heading for the Acton KOA on Wednesday, on the 22nd, but on the 21st, I'm coming down this mountain just about 11:30, and I look down and I see this Jeep, and it was the same color. It looked like my buddy Brad Collins' old Jeep, and I remember thinking, I got to take a picture of this Jeep. It's like the same vintage as his. And as I got closer, I realized, the spare tires mounted, he mounts his very uniquely. And I was like, I think that's Brad's Jeep. How in the world could that be? That can't be Brad's Jeep. So I came down on the mountain. No freaking way. This is ridiculous. I'm sitting here up on the ridge. I look down, I see this Jeep. I go, it looks like my buddy Brad's Jeep. And here he is. Oh my goodness.
Hey Dave.
This is awesome. There's Brad sitting there, pulled his seat out of his Jeep, sitting there in his Jeep seat, leaning against a tree, waiting for me. He had driven to Acton in a 64-year-old Jeep, by the way, no roof, anything. Talked to some campers who hadn't seen me, but showed him on the app where they thought I would be coming, where I had to cross. So he drove up there, got up there at 11 o'clock at night, slept by the side of the road, and waited there for me. And 11:30, I come down, there's Brad. And so we spent about an hour and a half. He brought out a whole cooler full of food. We had lunch. A couple other hikers I had met came through, and we, gave trail magic to them, gave them a bunch of the food, and it was the most awesome surprise you could imagine. Completely surprised. Had no idea it was coming. It was really something. And that day, to that time, I did my most miles. I did 23 miles. Made it to a place called Messenger Flat, which was just horribly cold and windy. I camped in a cloud that night, and the next morning I went I think it was 14 miles to a KOA in Acton, where I got there about 2. I had planned on doing a 0 the next Thursday, paid for it. It was only $15 a night, but I ended up not doing it. And it just decided that the one day was enough. I got a hot shower and a few things, so it worked out fine.